I want to tell you about a notebook. For about 5 years, the last page of every notebook I owned said the same three things. Get in shape, make real money, build something of my own. I know. Real original. Different notebooks, different years, same three lines. I'd write them down every January, and honestly, a few random Tuesdays in between, and every single time, it felt like something was happening. It wasn't. My life didn't change. Not the body, not the bank account, not the thing of my own. 5 years. And the day I finally understood why is the day things actually started moving. So if you're carrying wants like that, things you've been wanting for years while your life stays exactly the same, stay with me. Because there's a reason it's not happening. And it's not the reason you think. Let me guess how this looks for you. You know what you want, sort of. More money, a better body, your own thing, the business, the move, the relationship, the version of you that finally has it together. If someone asks about your goals at dinner, you have answers. Good answers. You sound like a person who's going somewhere. You save the posts, the apartment tours, the before and afters, the day in the life of someone living your exact dream. You've got a whole folder of evidence about the life you're supposedly building. Maybe your version isn't even a notebook. Maybe it's a note in your phone, 3 years old, still titled Goals. And every January, the same list comes back, same items, like furniture. From the outside, nothing's wrong. You work, you function, you're fine. But privately, and you'd never say this out loud, you can feel the gap. The gap between the person you are and the person you keep saying you're about to become. And every year that gap gets a little harder to look at. So what's going on? You're not lazy. You're not dreaming too small. You want these things. You've wanted them forever. So why does nothing ever actually arrive? Well, it turns out there's a reason, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the first thing I had to learn, and I learned it embarrassingly late. I want more money is not a goal. It's a mood. Look at your list. I mean, actually look at what's written there. Get in shape, be successful, make more money, find someone, be happy. None of those are instructions. There's nothing your hands can do with be successful. Your brain is like a search engine. It's unbelievably good at finding things and completely useless at guessing what you meant. Type nothing into it and it returns nothing. That's not a character flaw. That's just how the machine works. Okay, here's a test. Nobody's watching, so be honest. You say you want to make good money. Okay, what's the number? Not 6 figures, not comfortable. The number. What is it after taxes? What does it actually change about an ordinary Tuesday in your life? Most people, and I was one of them for years, have never once done that math. We say we want money the way we say we want world peace, sincerely and completely without coordinates. And here's the hidden cost, the part nobody warns you about. Vague is comfortable. A goal with no number and no date is a goal you can never fail at. You can't miss a target that was never set. And some quiet part of you knows that. That's why it stays blurry. Blurry is safe. But here's what blurry actually costs you. And it compounds. A want with no shape can't generate action. There's no first step because there's no destination. So your body just doesn't move. Weeks pass, months, and that itch builds. The feeling that life isn't going anywhere. You know the one. So eventually you do something about it. And this is where it gets sneaky, because the thing you do feels like progress. You buy the planner, the nice one. You make the vision board. You start journaling your goals every morning. Maybe you get into manifesting. Half your feed is people scripting their dream life, whispering about the universe, writing the same sentence 33 times. And look, I'm not here to mock any of it. I had the vision board, okay? Beach house and all. But here's what I noticed, and it took me way too long. Every time I wrote the dream down, visualized it, really felt it, like you're supposed to, I felt better, genuinely better. For a day or two, that itch went quiet, and nothing changed. Not one thing in my actual life was different. Run that loop long enough. Want, ritual, relief, nothing. And a darker thing starts to happen. You start to conclude that the problem is you. Because other people get the body. Other people launch the thing. Other people actually make the move. And you've been wanting for a decade. So the evidence starts to whisper, maybe you're just not the kind of person this happens for. So you adapt, quietly. You stop saying the dreams out loud, first to your friends, then to yourself. You start using the word realistic a lot, and nobody around you notices anything wrong, because realistic sounds like wisdom. But you know, it's not wisdom, it's surrender, with better branding. And this is where your mind plays its final card, the cruelest one. Because the dream never fully dies, it just changes form. It stops being something you're building and becomes something that visits you. In the shower, on the drive home, at 1 a.m. when you can't sleep. The little movie, you know the one. The body, the launch, handing in your notice, the look on your parents' faces. And the movie feels good. That's the trap. Every time you play it, your brain hands you a small advance on a success you haven't earned, a free sip of the feeling. So the wanting itself becomes the reward. You're not chasing the goal anymore, you're snacking on it. I have a name for these. Ghost goals. A ghost goal is a dream with no body, no number, no date, no next physical step. It can't move anything in the real world. It has no hands. All it can do is haunt you, show up at night, make you ache, remind you of the gap. And here's what makes a ghost goal so dangerous. It stays just alive enough that you never grieve it, and never gets real enough that you actually build it. You can carry one for 20 years. People do. People die with them. That's what those notebook pages of mine were. 5 years of ghosts. I wasn't setting goals, I was visiting a grave. And look, before we get into what helped me, let me be straight with you for a second. I'm not preaching here. I haven't beaten this thing completely. I've probably still got a ghost or two in the closet myself. This is just what I've lived and what I've watched work for people close to me. Take it with a grain of salt. Keep what's useful, drop the rest. Cool? Okay, here's what actually changed it. So how do you fix this? The first step, and this one is non-negotiable. You give the ghost a body, a number, a date, a picture so sharp that a complete stranger could check whether you hit it. That last part is the test, by the way. If a stranger couldn't verify it, it's not a goal yet. Get in shape. A stranger can't verify that. 25 push-ups and one unbroken set by Labor Day, that they can check. Let me tell you what this looked like for me, because this is the what helped me part. For years, one of my notebook lines was save more money. Years. Then one night, I don't even know what was different about that night, I sat down and did the thing I'd been avoiding. $10,000, separate account, December 31st. And then the math my vague goal had been protecting me from. That's about $192 a week. And something almost physical happened. Decisions started appearing. This subscription, gone. That habit, downgraded. The extra shift I always said no to, suddenly worth saying yes to. I wasn't more disciplined that year. I promise you I wasn't. I just finally knew what the target was. The math made the decisions for me. And can I tell you the weirdest part? That year felt boring. No goosebumps, no vision board high. Just math, doing its job. That's how I knew it was real this time. I watched a friend do the same thing with her career. She'd been underpaid for 2 years, and for 2 years her plan was a feeling, they should really be paying me more. Nothing happened. Feelings don't get scheduled into meetings. Then she did it properly, pulled the salary data for her role, picked her number, 78,000, wrote down what she'd actually shipped that year, booked the meeting herself, walked in with a number in a case, and walked out within a couple grand of it. Here's the part that should haunt you a little, that raise was available the entire time. It wasn't waiting for her to deserve it more. It was waiting for coordinates. And you see the same split everywhere once you know what to look for. There's a guy, every town has one, who's been starting a business someday for 6 years. Every time you see him, someday's still coming. And then there's the woman who said, I'm detailing cars on Saturdays, 80 bucks a car, 4 cars a month to start. Within a year, her weekends were booked solid. One of them had a plan, the other one had a ghost. Now, here's the thing people get wrong about all the manifesting stuff. The law of attraction, scripting, vision boards, that whole world. And I want to be fair to it. Sometimes it really does look like it works, right? Someone scripts their dream life, and 2 years later, they're living it. And they'll tell you, straight-faced, that the universe delivered. Here's what I think actually happened. The moment a goal gets specific, your attention changes. You start noticing doors that were always there. The conversation you would have ignored, the listing, the opening, the person who knows a person. The universe didn't start sending you signals. You finally tuned to a frequency you could act on. It's not magic, it's AIM. And honestly, that's better news than magic, because AIM is learnable. Okay, step 2, and you can't skip this one. Check whether you actually want it. Here's the audit that humbled me. Look back at the things you've actually gotten in your life. The degree, the job, the person. That one thing you pulled off that surprised everyone. Now remember what the wanting felt like. It wasn't a vibe, was it? It had teeth. You thought about it in the shower. And then you got out of the shower and did something about it. Same day. Now hold that next to the goals on your current list. And be honest about the temperature difference. Here's my test. It's stupid and it works. Would you cross a parking lot in freezing rain tonight to take one real step toward it? Because real wanting pays costs. Happily, almost greedily. A want that never costs you anything isn't a goal. It's decoration. And if a goal fails the test, cut it, actually cross it off. I know that sounds like giving up. It's the opposite. Every fake goal on your list is borrowing energy from a real one. Deleting goals you don't truly want is some of the most productive work you will ever do. All right, step 3. This is the one nobody told me, and it changed how I build everything. Stop running your wants as competitors and braid them. See, most people think focus means amputation. Getting serious about money? Then quit the gym, go dark on your friends, let the family get whatever's left of you at 9 p.m. I tried that. Months of nothing but work. You know what happened? My work got worse. Slower brain, shorter fuse, worse ideas, and everything I was supposedly doing it all for was quietly dying in the background because the gym was never competing with my work. It was funding it. The energy, the sleep, the mood. That's where output comes from. And the people I'd gone dark on weren't a distraction from the ambition. They were the reason for it. And half my best ideas used to come out of those conversations. So here's the reframe. 1 rope instead of 5 loose threads. Training feeds the work. The work funds the family. The family is the why behind the money. The money buys back time to train. Each strand pulls the others tighter. I know a guy who wanted 4 things: money, his health, time with his kids, and work that actually mattered to somebody. On paper, 4 competing goals, a scheduling nightmare. Today, he runs a small neighborhood gym where half the evening class is parents who bring their kids along. money, health, his kids in the building, and mattering. He didn't find four answers. He found one answer that pulled all four wants. And when your wants line up like that, something happens that looks almost like luck from the outside. You stop leaking. Every hour feeds the whole system instead of robbing one goal to pay another. That's the power everybody's chasing. It was never about wanting harder. It was about wanting in one direction. Step 4, last one. Pick a game you can repeat. Don't build your future on a lightning strike. Go viral. Get discovered. One big break. That's just vagueness wearing a costume. Pick something where you control the reps. Post every week. Make the calls. Train the sessions. Write the pages. A game where a mistake is information, not an ending. Small, repeatable. Yours because compounding is slow, and then it's sudden. And when it finally shows up, the people watching from the outside will call it overnight. Let them. So here's where I'll leave you. Somewhere out there is a version of you who actually got the things written in the back of your notebook. And the difference between you and them is not talent. It's not luck. It's not the universe playing favorites. The difference is that their goals had bodies, a number, a date, a cost they agreed to pay. And yours are still ghosts. You don't need more wanting. You've won enough for 10 lifetimes. Pick one, just one. Tonight, give it a number, give it a date, give it one step your hands can do tomorrow. That's it. That's how the haunting ends. Look, I'm not a guru. I don't have this all figured out. I'm figuring it out right alongside you. These are just the things that helped me. Take what's useful and leave the rest. None of this is a rule book. Following it doesn't guarantee anything. We're not trying to be perfect here. We're just trying to be better-ish, a little better than yesterday. And if any part of this hit a little too close to home, if you've got a ghost goal you've been carrying for years, maybe one you've never said out loud, leave a comment and tell me which part made you pause. I read them. And chances are you're not the only one carrying it, not even close, because sometimes naming the ghost is the first real step to giving it a body. Thanks for listening. Take care of your mind, and I'll see you in the next one. Be betterish.